have to be discussed with the particular applicant.
My last question is, I thought we were through with Alturi landfill, but I guess we're not. What is the litigation now?
Dennis? Status-wise, well, we received an adverse ruling from Judge Ritter in regards to the tax certiorari, and presently we're in a 14-day time period within which the petitioner is to submit proposed findings and judgment and an order on notice to all parties to resolve the case. And the litigation is ongoing in terms of a final decision, resolution, possible appeals, that type of thing.
This thing will never go away. It's incredible.
It's hoped there will be some finality at some point in time.
Tommy Milo and his merry men, they will have served their time in federal prison and be out to spend the money. Thank you.
All right. Neil, you had something?
He covered it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, though.
Right. Anyone else? Joel?
We'll give the mic, Joel. Okay, let me have it.
You take this one, Joel.
You just quoted me with a sticker. When you were away, Mr. Supervisor, the board passed a resolution to have you send a letter to the DOT supporting Eddie Dunn and Annie Rabbit's request to have the funds restored for the Route 17 study. I asked about this previously. Has that letter been sent?
No, I still don't know I don't have the detail of what I'm supposed to do. Is it a resolution or a motion?
Yeah, not a
resolution.
Yeah.
There was a
motion. What was it? Yeah. I don't know if it was a resolution. It was just... No, it was a consensus. Just a
right, I've not done anything.
Communication to the DOT supporting Eddie Dunn and Annie Rabbit's request that the funds be restored. And letting them know that it was important to us.
Okay.
This is in the whole framework of changing 17 to 86. No, it was the funds for studying the widening of 17 had been dropped by Patterson. And Eddie, Diana, and Annie Rabbit thought that this was a bad move, as do I.
Well, I need to discuss this with the board and get their input on what,
Okay.
If they've kind of agreed to discuss it, we're certainly to do that. I mean,
great.
Okay. Very good.
I just don't want it to disappear.
Okay.
What can you tell us about where things currently stand between the village and the town over the dispute on payment of sewer fees?
I think Dennis can do it. We're in communication. Dennis, you want to share?
Yeah. As the board, I know is aware, as the public I believe is aware, we initiated some weeks ago a motion to compel the village to arbitrate the dispute. The village cross-moved to oppose that motion, and we received a decision from Judge Slobod, I believe it was last Friday, indicating that the parties were to commence or proceed to arbitration, and that we were given 45 days within which to pick the arbitrators, and so notify the court, or alternatively the court would designate who is to arbitrate the dispute.
And so it's on our executive session to talk about that tonight.
It's proceduralized.
Along those lines, has there been any, well, let me rephrase that. Has the discussion with the village, between the town and the village over an IMA just ground to a halt while this is all pending, or have they demonstrated at the village level any desire to go forward with the discussion?
There may be some interest brewing, but they, a few months ago, just withdrew. And so I think with this decision by the judge about arbitration and everything else going on, there may be some discussions that may start pretty soon. I know that Dennis is dealing with their attorney, and I know that Ken has talked to his counterpart in the village board in regard to sewer, so maybe something may happen. I'm hopeful.
Given the applications before the town at this point with various developments, how would you characterize the sense of urgency that the town feels to progress with those discussions?
We're very interested in IMA because we don't have one. One of the subdivisions currently does not have one, and what we're going to be talking tonight with Heritage is we need one before we can get on and create whatever we're going to create. So we've got to be in dialogue, and so that's part of our discussion tonight.
That's why I asked.
Sure. And I think, I'm hopeful because nothing can move without dialogue. I mean, we just can't do it on our own, and the village can't do it on their own. We've got to talk to each other. And as we've said, we're open to this. We want to do this.
In this process of looking at this issue with regional, on development sites, sewer districts, has there ever been a consideration by the town, even just blue skying it, for the town to go into the sewer business and build one or more plants to deal with regions or to deal with the town? Obviously, you can't do
not that I'm aware of. Maybe someone else has got knowledge of it.
If the town were to move in that direction, are there funds to be had so that it wouldn't all be on the town? Are there funds from the federal government or?
Without looking and talking, I'd say no. All the grants and the funds have just dried up. Normally the state every year will buy 1 or 2 police cars for us, or do this or do that. Nothing's coming this year. Just read the paper. The state is broke. And this afternoon I heard the news where the governor's going to, 369 or 29 employees he wants to give pink slips between now and the end of the year.
In addition to the DEC?
I just heard the news and I turned it off coming out the door tonight to this meeting. So I know the state of New York they're like everybody else. They don't have any funds.
But the federal government keeps talking about infrastructure.
Well, we got stimulus money. We got $287,000 stimulus money to rebuild the Jessup Switch Road. So we've got for $5.3 million a request, I think it is, for stimulus money to replace the infrastructure at Hamiltonian Park and Arcadia Hills in regard to sewer lines. But do I really feel we're going to get any? I don't think so. They'll be building the Tappan Zee Bridge, or they'll be doing something else. It's not going to come down to local municipalities. We're at the bottom of the feeder group. So, but we'll keep trying, and we do. We're constantly putting in for grants and stimulus or whatever it is. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Just a question.
Go ahead.
This week I received something on my computer with a video for recent problems in the village of Goshen with the rainfall and the water coming up in Erie Street. Were you two fellows involved in that? There's no comment on this one.
Could you be more specific?
The Erie Street bubbling out of sewage.
Well, we didn't make it bubble up.
No, did you take
I just went to the video.
Keep doing it, and you'll wear that.
Oh, I do flush my toilet every now and then.
Okay, yeah, I mentioned it. Okay, talking to the press is tough. Okay. It's all you say, no comment.
We do the same thing at the village that we do here. We videotape the meeting. Neil and I asked questions at that meeting with regard to that sewer outflow. They made a response as part of the video. We posted it online.
Well, make no surprise, I wasn't going to criticize. I thought it was an excellent piece. Thank you for bringing to the village board's attention so they can address it. Because obviously there were other videos that they weren't aware of that, so I thought it was an excellent piece.
If you were to watch this week's video of the village board meeting,
I did.
They made it very clear that they are now aware of the problem and moving on it forthwith as quickly as possible so as not to run afoul, no pun intended, of the
No, it was an excellent for the people who live in the village.
They claim they didn't know about the Erie Street outflow, and now that they know, they just voted $3,500 for one fee and another $950, so roughly $4,500 to Lincoln Tully to study and engineer a resolution to the problem. Thank you for your receipt.
Super.